Kellyvision.
Hello and a great big welcome to Kellyvision, a brand new series about television and the way television programs are made. In the next few weeks with Gaz Top, I'll be looking at outside broadcasts, at the making of commercials, that's absolutely fascinating, the dangerous life of the stuntman, special effects, television drama, and lots more aspects of the making of television. But really, at the very heart of it all is this, a typical television studio, with all the lights sprouting from the ceiling, with the monitors in the middle, the camera's not even in position yet. All the usual paraphernalia. And it's very hard to believe, as you look at it now, that at any moment this could all spring to life. But believe me, spring to life it does, because this very studio is the home of the Roxy network chart show. So let's now see it transformed in action.
Roxy, the network chart show, and the countdown begins.
First of all, there was the Jackson House bill.
Well, actually, it's brilliant. Smoke in the air, lots of people waiting to have a good time. They've vibed up, but they're waiting for the bands to come on. The Roxy is great. Here we are in the middle of the recording. But how did it get put together?
Now then, how are things?
Not too bright, Gavin. Bomb the Bass didn't go to #1.
It didn't?
Nope.
Oh. What happened to Brian Ferry? Is he definitely bombed right out?
No, he's
still
gone
going
to
up.
43.
Really?
It's gone up 17 places.
Oh, so are you thinking of playing out on that? Or not?
Yeah, I think we should do.
Possibility.
It's a
I
shame to
wish it
have
had
that
been in the top 40, though.
Because that's what Gordon wanted to do, because it's probably our last chance to use it, isn't
No,
it?
it's now moving upwards, you see. It
But
might
that-
hold another week.
Good, and you're the producer of the Roxy. How do you decide what goes into each week's show?
Well, I look at the charts when they come in on Friday, and out of all the charts, I just pick out what is best in the charts. Obviously, aiming for bands to higher up the charts than lower down the charts, because I'm trying to make this a sort of top 30 show, because I maintain that more people want to see what's at the top of the charts than what's at the bottom of the charts. And if a record is good at the bottom of the chart, it's going to get to the top of the charts anyway. So I look at #1 and I work down to see who are the best acts around. I mean, like this week, we've got some house music. We've got Vanessa Paradis, who's a little 15-year-old Parisian girl. We've got Alexandra O'Neill. We've got Brian Ferry. And we've got Kylie Minogue and Bomb the Bass. I mean, I don't think you can have a more varied group of people than that.
Yeah, I'm just checking up on a few things for the Bass. Right, cheers now.
The upstairs on that every time they come in.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
Just get a blaster here.
Gav! Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. This is the producer's office. Can I have a go?
Okay, we've got a great show this week. It's a lot of house music. We've got Cold Cut. We've got Vanessa Paradis, who's the 15-year-old French girl. We've got Alexandra O'Neill, big star.
Is Sherelle with him?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's good. We've got a video of Morrissey, which is the biggest climber of the week. We're showing Brian Ferry, so a big star in the show. Kylie Minogue, still #1. It'd be nice if you didn't call her a dingo this week, because I've had an official complaint from the record company.
Oh, really?
So we'll have to be very nice about her this week. And then we're going out with Bomb the Bass, which could be next week's #1.
Now, that production meeting was all about this series of pieces of paper. This is a running order. Every TV programme has it, even the Roxy. On the front, it's got a list of all the people involved in the show. And these pages inside, basically all they do is list every item that's going into the show, whether it be a video, someone performing on stage, or someone chatting, and how long you've got to do each sort of thing. For instance, Bomb the Bass, beat this, and you've got 3 minutes to do that song, but before that, Pat and Kevin have got 15 seconds to introduce that and talk about what you've just seen. Now, 15 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, does it? Watch this. Come here, Karen. This is Karen, who's a PA on Kellyvision and one of her job is to organise the time. 15 seconds.
Okay, here goes. Five left. 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a long time, innit? Now, how do the presenters organise what they're going to say in that short but very important time?
Special guest this week, #1 heartthrob from the #1 movie, Legs of Steel, Arms of Iron.
Well, thank you, Pat. Here's Robocop. Hello, Robo. Welcome to Roxy. Do you want to introduce our first act? We've got 15 seconds to get this out, and so we can't say an awful lot.
Well, why don't you
You're
start?
not going to say anything.
Why don't you start? Off
I mean, it
saying-
doesn't have to be exactly 15 seconds. I mean, all these are only guides.
Look, I've had 5 minutes to remember them. By this evening, I'll have forgotten them all.
Once we've got the running order finalised, the director will then have a copy of the music and the lyrics, and we'll spend the weekend working out all the shots and all the different angles and doing a complete shooting script for each number.
So by the time you do the show, you literally know exactly what picture will appear on the screen to go with what words?
Yes,
every
absolutely.
single one?
Absolutely. Every single word and every single bar count as well is broken down, so that if there's a 2-bar break and it's a 2-bar instrumental on guitar or whatever, the camera will be scripted to cover that instrument for those 2 bars.
Even though you've been doing this some time, and even though you've planned it very carefully over the weekend, it must be a fairly tense evening, mustn't it?
Yes, it's fairly pressurized because, as I say, there is a lot to get through, and there's a lot of people and a very lot of expensive people and equipment at your beck and call, and you have to be as cost-effective with the use of that time as possible.
Right, so you've got the... Cut that down, so that should be in 5 seconds. And remember, at the end, when we finish at 11, we're going to go back to Morrissey.
Ah, right, the video.
So you'll link into that. You got that okay?
Okay. And each of these has to be, what, 3.75 seconds?
I'll kill you in 4 seconds.
All right. Take a
All
big
right,
breath.
I'll take it from you at the top.
Okay, here we go.
5 new entries on our new Network 20, and 3 of them are being seen for the first time on this week's Roxy. Brand new at 20, it's Rick Astley's Together Forever off his smash debut album. Down 8 to 19, bringing down to house the Beatmasters and Cookie Crew. More Brick House at 18, Jack and Chill rolling down the Network Hill. New at 17, our youngest Roxy performer is French star Vanessa Paradis. At 16, it's another chart breaker. We saw Cold Cut earlier with Doctor in the House. At 15, Was Not Was gets shaken but not stirred like The Spy in the House of Love. Debbie Gibson falls 7 to 14 with Shake Your Love. The follow-up is out soon. At 13, Morrissey debuts on his own with Suede Head from the new LP, Viva Hate. Up 12 to number 12, The Man in the Mirror is none other than Michael Jackson. Up 3 to number 11, it's Sisters of Mercy rivals The Mission and Tower of Strength.
So when's your first day's involvement with the Roxy? It goes out on Tuesday in most places.
Well, really, I guess like your job, if you're involved in a project in music, radio or television, the job never stops. You're always thinking about it. You're always hoping to get ideas. You wake up in the middle of the night and you have an idea for something and you write it down on a piece of paper and you wake up and you forget about the paper. But I mean, you know, you're always thinking about the job, and you're always thinking about ringing people and you're talking it through ideas. So it really never stops. It's not like a 9 to 5 sort of job.
The Roxy's full title these days is the Roxy Network Chart Show. Is that the right way around? Or Roxy the Network Chart Show?
That's the one, yeah.
What's its purpose as a chart show then?
Well, really, its purpose is to bring our viewers and, on radio terms, our listeners, the most accurate, up-to-date chart that we possibly can. And it's compiled by MRIB, an organization in London, who have a very scientific way of measuring sales returns for the week. They do it not just for singles, but also albums and compact discs and discos and what have you. So they're pretty well briefed in the art of chart compilation.
Can I give you the positions around the car? The link will be done, there's going to be 3 of them in front of the Roxy neon. It'll all be done on the camera crane. There's going to be a saxophonist sitting here, one saxophonist here, the other one like so, and the lead vocal will be standing at this end of the car.
Bill says he's going to have to go without lights if you want to rehearse now, because he's busy setting. And the man dressed as the Robocop is here if you want to put him in on the links. Okay, Gavin, they're standing by. Is that the right position for you?
Well, if you've been reading the papers this week, you've probably been hearing about a new presenter. Well, we've got him here. He's got Arms of Steel, Roxy Metal,
Thank you, Pat. Actually, he doesn't meet me. We've got Robocop here. Hello and welcome to the Roxy. He doesn't say very much. You can introduce our next act? Well, if you won't, I will. Here she is, Vanessa Paradis with Jola Taxi. Don't worry about that. We'll sort that out later.
Yeah, sure.
I've got a running gag going, whereas at the beginning I say to you, would you like to introduce the act? You just don't say anything.
Is it hard work? 'Cause I'm sure a lot of people think that you just turn up and do it.
Well, you do a bit, but the work's involved in trying to make it look easy. And I think you probably get to a point where it is easy, but sometimes, I mean, like, it involves, I've got to get up at about 5:30 on a Monday morning to get here, because it's coming all the way up to Newcastle. But then when you look on the other side of it, it's like doing a week's work in a day, so you can do whatever you want for the rest of the week.
How come it takes all day to do that much for you then?
I think so because you have the groups here as well, and you have to fit in with all the groups and obviously be there when they're practicing and they're getting it right for the cameras. So obviously they need more work than us, even though the producer might disagree with that. But you just have to be there and be part of the show and wait for your turn.
Do you need to practice?
Sometimes, yeah, depending, like if you've got to remember half a dozen names, like who's on tonight's show or something, it's good to have them very clear in your head. Otherwise, you spend 17 to 18 takes, which has happened, trying to get it right.
How many takes does it take normally?
Well, these days it actually takes 1 to 2. In fact, I remember the first time I ever got it all right in one, I got a round of applause from the audience. They ruined the thing because we had to start all over again because they weren't supposed to clap.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
On shot 4. 4A on 5. 4A, 5. 6. 7. On shot 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14 on 2.
Tim, how many TV shows have you done then now?
This is the second one, second one.
What's it like doing something like this?
Well, brand new really, you know, not really used to any of this. So.
You've sort of put a band or a troupe of people together for this. What's all this about?
Well, just to sort of make the actual show a bit more different, you know.
Are those people on the record then?
Yeah, they're actually sort of session musicians, yeah.
The second thing is, should anybody feel sick because they're not smoking or for any other reason whatsoever, we do have a nurse on duty tonight who will look after you. The main thing is that you're here to enjoy yourselves. We've got some great bands. Enjoy yourselves, dance. You're part of the programme as well. If you enjoy it, then we enjoy it. You do have to be a little aware of the cameras moving around all the time so that you don't get bumped off your feet forever.
Okay, here we go. And cue applause. Applause, 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 will be team.
We'll be down 3, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Roxy, the network chart show, and the countdown begins.
Okay, first of all, there was the Jackson House bill, then there was house arrest, and pretty soon it's going to be a big housing estate. But in the meantime, here's the latest. Doctor in the House.
Go cut, number 16.
We've got a hot one for you. Can you take care of it? We've got a hot one for you. Can you take care of it?
Sure it's cool. You can't leave me all alone by myself.
Yes, but a hot waxing as well. What a good song. So here we are, Legs of Steel, Arms of Iron.
Oh, thank you, Pat.
No.
All right, stand by.
Robocop, hello. He doesn't say very much. Here, you going to introduce the next song?
Go on, go on.
Oh, here she is, Vanessa Paradis with Jola Taxi.
Over there.
Coming to shot 2 on 7. 5. 6.
And
7.
through we go.
On shot 2, coming to 3 on camera 1.
Go to 1. Through to 1. Out you come 1. Nice and gently.
On shot 4, 25 on 2.
And 2.
On shot 5, coming to 6 on 3.
Done by 3. And through to 3.
Shot 28. 29 on 5 next. 29. 30 on 3 next. Shot 30. Coming to VTR. 32 on 2. 33. 34. 35. 2 bars. 36 on 1. 2 bars. 37 on 5. 2 bars. 38 on 3. 39 on 1. 40. 41. 42. 2 bars. 43. 44. 45. 46. Coming to 47 on 5. 47. 48.
Well, there you go. You might think that it's finished, but not at all. What happens now is Gavin, the director, will take all the tapes of everything they've recorded of the Roxy today, for instance, the shots of the band performing, the shots of the audience, all the links that the presenters have done. He'll go down into an edit suite and edit and assemble all those bits together so they form the Roxy. Now, that'll take all night. It's now 10 to 10 in the evening. You'll be finished by 7 in the morning, and it'll get transmitted at 7 tomorrow evening. Now, because the network chart show, the Roxy, is so punishing to do, there are 2 directors working on it. Gavin's done this week, and work has already started on next week's Roxy, directed by Mike, the chap who's actually directing this, and he's sat just there by that side of the camera. That's a punishing schedule for you, and that's life on the network chart show.
Hold it there.
Kellyvision.